It is Sunday, April 26th. Welcome to the show. Brand new footage coming in of this new Trump assassin, Cole Thomas Allen. Surprise, this is not some random on the edge of society lone wolf. Wait till you see who this guy is or who he was. Found a lot of video of this guy. We're going to go through that. We'll show it to you. Yes, once again, they tried to assassinate our president 3 times now. This is getting a bit ridiculous, and we have confirmation of the motive. In fact, we have the manifesto with him admitting to his motive. Let's start here.
When I was talking to the president, he is, and the things that he's been hearing, he is of the understanding that this guy was trying to essentially break down the door, shoot his way through the door, and then go right up that center aisle and shoot as many people as possible.
White House officials tell our CBS News' Jennifer Jacobs that authorities have found anti-Trump and anti-Christian rhetoric on the suspect's social media accounts. We're also told by law enforcement sources both of his firearms were purchased legally in California. As for the defendant, Margaret, he'll appear in federal court tomorrow.
President Trump last night scheduled to attend his first White House Correspondents' Dinner speech as president. The who's who of D.C. elites all in attendance, a city, mind you, comprised of 95% Democrat, 5% Republican, all in that ballroom last night. We were expecting one banger of a speech or a roasting by the President of the United States last night. Well, before that could happen, 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen rushed through security carrying a shotgun, a handgun, multiple knives, Secret Service luckily apprehending this guy quickly, failing to even reach the ballroom. We've now been able to learn that Allen sent his family a manifesto 10 minutes before launching this attack. The manifesto, it's available online. You could read it. The New York Post summing it up this way as an anti-Trump document, an anti-Trump manifesto. Its goals were to take out as many Trump officials as possible as targets, including administration officials, not including Kash Patel, though. Interesting enough, prioritizing them from highest ranking to lowest, writing, "I'm no longer willing to permit a pederast, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." He goes on to mention Trump's strikes on Venezuelan drug boats, detaining illegal aliens. So yes, he is a deranged left-wing extremist who also turns out to be C2 Education's Teacher of the Month last year in December 2024 in Torrance, California. Imagine for a moment, this is who is teaching your children on the daily, the person who they're interacting with every day. That alone is frightening. We've also been able to learn he was part of a group called the Wide Awakes and is believed to have attended a No Kings protest in California. The No Kings protests, realize, are organized and funded in large part by Indivisible, who is funded by, wait for it, the Open Society Foundations, George Soros and Son Network, also the Tides Foundation, and Reid Hoffman. Konstantin Kisin writing this, "Shocker, calling your political opponents Nazis makes crazy people want to assassinate them. Who could have predicted that?" But was this guy crazy? Who is Cole Thomas Allen? Well, that's where it gets wild, folks. Resurfaced footage showing ABC News did a media story on this guy while he was attending Caltech. Yes, Caltech, an elite STEM university. Watch this.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test.
And for anyone who's not in the know, Caltech, or the California Institute of Technology, is an elite, world-renowned STEM institution. It's ranked among the top universities, top 10, I believe, universities globally. You have to be, like, super smart to go there. So how in the world does a borderline genius resort to storming the metal detectors at the White House Correspondents Association dinner? President Trump saying sometimes these people are very high IQ, but nuts. Watch.
This is a tough job. These are nasty people that were let in, rough, tough people. And by the way, in many cases, very smart. You know, these assassins, they seem to be high IQ people, but they're crazy. And so, you know, Secret Service and all of the different groups. You look at Border Patrol, you look at ICE. I mean, ICE is so incredible, Border Patrol is so incredible, and, you know, they have a hard time being recognized for the job they do. I'm very proud to recognize them. I mean, I think I had 100% of the vote of law enforcement.
We also found footage of him graduating from California State University last May. Yes.
Call Thomas Allen.
He graduates at the age of 30, then less than a year later decides to storm the most secure building you could say on the planet last night to take out our elected president and everyone else serving in his cabinet, arrested for an attempted assassination. Pretty scary. It shows a pattern, though. Luigi Mangione, also highly educated, threw his life away because he bought into this propaganda. YouGov ran a poll a few months ago showing this: 22% of liberals under 44 now say it's okay to feel happy when a political opponent dies. That's compared to just 6% of conservatives at that same age bracket. Batya posting this: the week we learned Charlottesville was funded by the left and New York Times publishing an interview justifying murder, President Trump survives a third assassination attempt. We don't have a political violence problem in America. We have a left-wing political violence problem in America. She says that, though, with proof, screenshotting YouGov's poll that shows most Americans across the political spectrum say political violence is never justified. You think, except when it comes to younger, more liberal Americans who are more likely to disagree with that. What you want to focus on is the red in these bar charts. Red means, yes, violence can sometimes be justified. Look at the ideology who believes that. 25% of very liberal voters believing political violence is justified. That's crazy. Only 5% of very conservative voters say that. So, yes, the numbers seem to back this up. We saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated. We all know who did that. What I find even more disturbing, though, about this is this guy was a teacher. What if you were his colleague or a student? What if your child happened to go there being taught by this guy, and just happens to get into a political discussion with him and said something positive about this administration? Imagine how dangerous that would have been. Everyone in that school would be in danger. Last night, after the assassination attempt, President Trump holding a press conference at the White House, answering a question about why this keeps happening to him. Check this out.
And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names here. The big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughingstock for...
And he is right. Check it out. The list of U.S. presidential assassinations, 7 total assassinations or assassination attempts. All of them but one were against Republican presidents. JFK, obviously the only Democrat. But what's interesting, JFK, if you remember, or if you read a book, happened to be standing up to Democrats around that time. Look, one day President Trump will be gone. He won't be here anymore. In 3 years, he won't be our president anymore, but he will go down in the history books. Luckily, today is not that day. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you real soon.